Good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching Kentucky Sports Television. I'm Thomas Beiser. After months and months of waiting and build-up, Andrew Wiggins finally announced today that he's going to be a Kansas Jayhawk. Here's a look inside the signing ceremony from Charleston, West Virginia station WSAZ.
But in a couple of months, I'll be attending the University of Kansas.
At a ceremony at his high school in front of just a few family, friends, and coaches, Wiggins signed his letter of intent to play for Bill Self in Kansas. His choice was reportedly down to Kansas and Florida State, with Kentucky falling out of the top contenders. To help us recap the entire decision, the recruitment, and everything, we're happy now to be joined by our favorite basketball expert, Evan Daniels from Fox Sports. And Evan, I'd imagine today has been a very busy day for you and the end to a recruitment that was very unique. How strange was this overall, this recruitment of Andrew Wiggins?
You know, it was pretty wild and pretty unique, but it was also kind of fun to cover. Not many guys are this quiet and unassuming about the whole process. And, Andrew really didn't like the attention. He shied away from it. He even did a press conference with virtually no media there. So it was kind of cool how he did it, and certainly different than what we're used to. And, it's been a long, drawn-out process, and I'm kind of glad it's over.
Were you surprised at all? I mean, I know nobody really had any idea, but I think most reports had Kentucky and Florida State kind of in the leader. Most people believe that. How surprising, if at all, was him picking Kansas?
I think it was a little surprising. I think, last week I kind of thought Kentucky and Florida State were the two. I said a couple of days ago that I thought it was more Florida State, Kansas. I think that everyone kind of thought Florida State was going to be tough to beat just because of the relationship factor and how long they've been involved, the parents. And you know what I really got out of this was Andrew made his own decision. I think his family probably wanted him at Florida State, maybe his parents. But Andrew, all along, the high school coach, Rob Fulford's told me, really liked Bill Self, liked the way he recruited him. And I think that appealed to Andrew, and I think Andrew really got to make his own decision. According to Rob Fulford, his high school coach, Andrew didn't tell his parents as of 10 o'clock this morning. So, Andrew really did make his own choice. Sometimes in high school recruiting, that's not how it goes.
Do you think, we talked before, Evan, about how Andrew Wiggins is a type of player that maybe there's not so much a huge benefit from school to school in terms of what he's going to get out of it. What is the benefit for him as a player in going to Kansas over maybe a Kentucky or even a North Carolina, Florida State?
Well, he's going to be the alpha dog there, and, they have a really good recruiting class going in, and, he just sets it over the top. They're going to he'll be their third five-star recruit when we update our 2013 final rankings tomorrow, and then they also have two other guys in the top 50. So that's 5 players in the top 50, a really good class coming in, some good players there already. This gives Bill Self a lot to work with and a great group of guys and, a team that could be a contender and make a run for a national title.
We talked a lot about Kentucky's class, and Andrew Wiggins, of course, would have put them over the top, but a lot of discussion if they're the best recruiting class ever. Where does this Kansas class compare with UK?
It's just behind Kentucky's at probably number 2 in the 2013 recruiting class. Still very good. Andrew Wiggins, top overall player. Their next best player is Wayne Selden, who's just outside the top 10. Joel Embiid will jump into our top 25 tomorrow. Connor Frankamp and Brandon Green are both top 50 players and guys who can really shoot the basketball. So it's a pretty diverse class. Selden's a skilled big wing, can play some off the ball, shoots it fairly well, can play a little on the ball, he's a great passer. And then Embiid's a guy that's going to be a really good shot blocker, and he's an athletic, bouncy guy in the middle. Bringing in Andrew Wiggins, the best athlete in the 2013 class, the best defender, guy that can really handle the ball. Tremendous physical and athletic attributes. It's a really good group for Bill Self.
How big is the gap? People talk about Andrew Wiggins in being maybe the best high school prospect since LeBron. How big is the gap from him at number 1 to the guys Kentucky has, the Harrison twins, the Julius Randle, the people that are right there? Is it a huge gap, or is it close enough to say, Kentucky's right there? They have 3 guys that are very close to where Andrew Wiggins is as a player in terms of impact.
Early on, I would have said the gap was huge from Andrew Wiggins to maybe Julius Randle, but I think Julius kind of closed it a little. Julius had a really good close to his high school career, 6'9". He's so physical and an athlete, and he's a great rebounder. He's very aggressive. I was really impressed with how Julius Randle closed out his high school career, and people may see that on the rankings tomorrow, so make sure you tune into that. But yeah, I think the gap closed a little. I still think Andrew Wiggins is the number one player in the class. I'm not budging there. I really did not consider even moving him off the top spot. But I do think Julius Randle closed the gap some.
Now, Evan, the core of this team this year, of course, is going to be freshmen. There's some guys returning in Poitras and Willie Cauley-Stein and Wilcher, but they're going to count on these freshmen a lot to make the impact. When you look at the makeup of these players, not just physically, but kind of mentally, how prepared are they to come in and lead and maybe carry this team further than last year?
I think on the court, these guys are definitely prepared. And I think the thing about Julius Randle and the Harrison twins is they're so aggressive and physical and competitors. And, the thing about this Kentucky class is they have a little bit of everything. They have a dynamic point guard, a couple terrific scorers, some low post presence. I think these guys are immediate contributors. And, I think Kentucky's looking to have a really good year with some of the guys they brought back to go with this class.
All right, Evan Daniels from Fox Sports, thank you so much for your time, and we will look forward tomorrow to the updated rankings, of course, on the website. Always a pleasure, Evan.
Thanks, TJ. See you, buddy.